Hey everybody, welcome back to Small Couch Reviews. It's your boy Sam
It's your boy Joby.
coming to you with a review of Monkey Man. This is this is a movie directed, starring, and produced by Dev Patel
Mm-hmm.
of Slumdog Millionaire fame. Also produced by Jordan Peele. That's kind of what got me and Jovi excited. Let's get right into this. We're gonna do if you're new to we're gonna do our plot. Then we like to talk about what's sour to us. Then we're gonna end sweet. We like to end on a good note.
High note.
Um,
High note.
yeah, high note. Sorry, yes, you're right. Uh, and I got quite a few things. So this movie is interesting, man. Like I
Yeah.
feel like normally when I don't like a movie, it's very quick because I can just say it's bad. Here's why it's bad. Don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
When a movie has potential and it disappoints me, that's when I talk the most. And I think this is probably going to be one of those times.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, let's get right into it. Okay, so this movie is the plot is kind of you got to be patient with this one because it takes a while for the plot to develop.
Yeah.
Jovi's face says it all. So the movie Dev Patel in this movie is he's in a fight club, an underground fight club, and he wears a monkey mask. You might have seen in the
Mm-hmm.
trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And in the fight club, he can take a beating, but he's not like very good. Um, and you see him fight. He wants money, and then he uses this money because he's trying to infiltrate like this high society club because he lives in the I guess in the slums of India. Now, the thing that's interesting is, and this is probably leaking into the sour, but I said it takes a while because you don't actually know what he wants in this movie until around the 40-minute mark. That's when stuff actually starts to happen. You're like, got it. This is what the movie's about. Spoiler alert, it's a revenge film. He does want revenge. But before that, you weren't sure if he wanted money, if he was trying to save somebody, if he was trying to just become a member of the high class.
Right.
If he wanted wealth, if he wanted to redistribute wealth, like you had no idea what he was doing because there were just so many things happening. He was looking at different people and doing different things and not really focusing on one thing. And there's just so much angst and silence with it. And yeah, it wasn't very obvious, but that leads me right into the sour. Jovi, you're gonna have to be patient with me. I
Okay.
like to say. Okay.
Yeah. No. You said that after the film, so I'm prepared.
All right. So the movie has there are a lot of things that are wrong with this movie, and then there's one thing that is excellent, and that's going to be in my suite. And I think excellent is so excellent that it actually makes this a movie that's watchable. But let me talk about what the issues are, and we'll start like with
I wonder if we align on this.
yeah characterization. So, like I mentioned, the main character is Dev Patel. His name in this movie is Buddy Bobby. Bobby is the name he goes by.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he is one of the. And I'm sorry, let me say this before I say anything. It is very possible that there are people in India who can watch this movie and completely understand what's happening. There's subtext that I wasn't getting, so I want to add that caveat before I can.
There's clearly a subplot to all of this. The movie is about more than this monkey man.
Yeah. So I mean, because there's there are political things here going on too.
Yes,
And
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, like I can see, if I like me being a foreigner and not into Indian politics, I can see there's stuff that might go over my head. Although there's stuff I can definitely, as an American relate to. There's obviously, a conservative religious dude who's going against more progressive people that he sees as godless. And that's familiar to me. But there seems to be a civil land dispute in this as well that's happening that wasn't really all that well explained, and that's kind of what I was going to start with. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this movie doesn't have enough exposition. Like, it doesn't have enough context for stuff that's happening. So it seems like stuff literally just happens, and the movie continues. So I'll get to that in a second. Let me go back to characterization. The main character, like I was saying, Bobby. So we know that he has trauma. You can tell that
Right.
from the first fight when he just lets himself get pummeled. There's some sort of trauma there, and through the there are too many flashbacks, but through the various flashbacks in this movie, you see the trauma somehow relates to his relationship with his mom, who he loved, and something happened to.
Yeah.
But because he has so much angst, right? Like I was saying in the plot thing, you don't know, like when he's talking to people or when he's looking at people, he's just staring at people and clenching his fists. So you don't know if he's mad at one specific person, one specific group. You don't know if he wants to get money to help, like some ladies. He goes into he becomes an employee of like this brothel slash restaurant run by this madam, and you can't tell if he like really just wants to scam the lady or if he wants to hurt her. And
Mhm.
it's so there's so much angst towards everyone. You're not sure who his actual enemy is.
Right.
Um, and then with the actual enemies of the movie, they don't act like real people, bro. Like they just don't. There's a scene like right after you finally learn it's a revenge film, and he chooses this random person to take revenge against. He goes and he fights this dude. He runs across the street and he ends up in another brothel. And there's a dude just holding an axe. And the dude is like, "I'm gonna kill you." Like, no, but people don't talk like that, right? Like, it's so strange to me.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's
Okay.
like, okay, where did this come from? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It led to an action scene, but it made no sense. Then
Yeah.
right after that, he falls off a roof and ends up in a monastery.
Right.
And these people in the monastery just act like they've known him forever, even though they haven't. And again, it just leads to another plot point. So it's not as bad as Zack Snyder, but it's in the same vein where it just seems like stuff is happening to
Right.
move the plot along.
Right.
That is probably my biggest complaint with this movie.
Mhm.
Not enough context is given to anything. So then I guess the other thing is at the beginning of this movie, he is pretty much like Paul Walker's character in Too Fast, Too Furious. And by the end of the movie, he is John Wick. And the character, he doesn't have an arc. He has like a zigzag. It makes no sense how he gets there. Joby, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things in this movie that said that made me think that there was a whole other movie before this that we should have seen.
Yeah.
Like, not
Yeah.
just because so much was unexplained, not just that, but there's
Right.
also stuff like, oh, you don't like their line said like, oh, you're the one, or oh, that nothing might actually be a something, or
Yeah.
like remember who you are. And I'm sitting there like, who is he?
Right.
Like, I
Right.
mean, like that. Remember that's famous from like The Lion King, right? When
Right.
it was said to Simba, who's king of Pride Rock or whatever. Imagine if they said that to Timon. You'd have been like, "What does that mean?"
Right.
From what this movie showed me, you're a layabout who's best friend with a pig. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like there are pieces missing here.
Yeah.
And that's really the name of the game with me. That's kind of where I'm going to. I don't want to keep bashing. I do want to talk about what I liked. I don't want to
Right.
keep bashing it, but that's my sour brow. What about you?
Okay. Okay. I was just trying to pause to I can completely agree with everything you said, as pretty normal. Um, what I got while I was watching this for my sour was, you know, our good friend, Mr. Patel. It's not really our friend. I'm being facetious right now. Like, he wanted to make Raid Redemption, Crank, um, It Man, and John Wick and put it all in one movie.
It was too much.
And then give us a sad story that we had no connection to appreciate, right?
Hmm.
uh, Very much so, where I could say the cultural significance of it is something that we probably got lost in, or we lost, not got lost in, we lost in the whole arcing Like that's not a sour. That's just something of we can't relate because we don't know what the cultural significance is.
Right.
So that like hurts your very the marginalized part of your audience because majority of the movie is in English. So it's
Mhm.
like this is clearly for the Americas. Um, so it's just like, that was cool. That was a flashback, but then that's that's film from like real life. What now you're fighting somebody. What? Hold on. You your chest is open. What the heck is going on? Right?
Yeah,
That's
you're
what
right.
I'm trying to get at, where it's just like this bounciness of I went in knowing he's trying to kill that guy from the preview. That's what I got. So that was immediately I was like, okay, that's the whole point of all this. I didn't know that he was gonna have this resurrection story. It's kind of what we got.
Resurrected from what? Like that's
Right,
you see what I'm saying? Like
right.
yeah, he like, but he didn't
Yeah.
do like
So it's
I
like
really
he
feel like there.
explains the story of the monkey god,
Mhm.
but like cuts it at before we know what happens. And then we really don't know what the ending is to that story because
Yeah.
his story is convoluted. So and so my thoughts are very jumbled up with this because like I completely can understand what you were saying. And then for me it was just like, oh, and the CG was very much so like something that we would have watched in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like
I yeah.
one of the knives looked like the gun at the end of Tokyo Drift when DK puts it in the main character's face. And you're
Yeah.
like, that is a
Exactly
fake,
what you're talking about.
that is a fake gun. And then there's a knife where I'm like, that is a fake knife. That did not. We are so far ahead in movie making where that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and so it took me out of how awesome those scenes were. Um, yeah. So it's like I mean I'm not gonna go too deep. You've said enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it was just very jumbled, which I like I said, I feel like we're aligned on this of what we're gonna talk about in our suite, where it's just like that jumbledness and this odd storyline that's really not a storyline. Like
Yeah, it was
I went from, and this is for everybody that watched Star Channel, I went from a 5 and slowly started going down as
yeah,
things
me too.
started progressing.
Like I like Jovi and I sit next to each other when we go to these screenings, obviously. And I
Yeah,
can usually tell when Jovi's not into a movie by the amount of times he checks his phone. And for those who don't know, I actually don't ever check my phone.
yeah,
This movie, I checked it a lot of times because I really like when I saw like Jovi. So Jovi said in the preview he realized that he was trying to kill this guy.
yeah.
When I realized he was trying to kill this guy for revenge, right? I looked at my phone because I wanted to see what it was, and that was the 40-minute mark. That's when you actually learn what he's doing, and I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
that took way too long to get here.
Way too long.
And to your point, I didn't even mention this. Like he does mix in real life video with this movie, so there is a statement he's trying to make, which I can appreciate. Because I know, like, we just watched. What was that movie with the caste system? Origin.
Origin literally was talking about
Right.
that at work
We just
today.
watched that, so
Yeah.
I know that things are messed up. I get that,
Yes. Right.
and I under and like I mean that's not something like not even trying to knock the movie. I guess it's just there's so many different things in here, and it's like you're trying to do so many things that you don't do any of them great. But that's where I'll end, man. And I'm gonna get to my suite.
Go for it.
And I said the one thing that saved it, it's the action. The action and the camera work. The
Oh
camera
my
work
gosh, the
is
camera work.
It's phenomenal. There's so many scenes where like
Yes.
the whoever his DP is and Dev Patel's director, I gotta give him props. There are
Yeah.
scenes like there's shaky cam that doesn't bother me because it's shaking when the character himself is like discombobulated and he's in
Yes.
chaos and all this stuff.
Yes.
So it makes sense. All you can see everything. There's no like cuts with the
It's
action.
so good. It's so
Um,
good.
there are so many different angles. You got low angles, you got high angles, you got side angles, and it's always perfect so you can see exactly what he wants you to see and what
Mhm.
you need to see. And yeah,
Reflections.
yes,
It's
yes,
moving through objects, but
no,
not cheesy. That's why I didn't understand why CG was so trash. But you can put a camera through a crack in a door and get an object moving through the city.
yes,
That scene
exactly.
alone was like, you have the ability to do some really, really awesome
Yeah,
things.
honestly, some of the best camera work I've seen
Yeah,
this
no,
year,
straight up,
hands down. And then,
straight
like
up.
I said, the action, I mean, it's very violent.
Yes.
There are some like at the beginning when he's just a brawler. There's some scenes like one in particular in the bathroom that had I was like the whole theater like we kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
curled
Yeah.
up. And then when the action kicks in when he eventually becomes when he becomes John Wick like you see in the trailer.
Right.
He You see everything. Like,
Right.
and that's what I like. I don't like movies that, cut away from stuff.
Oh, you
And try
called
to
it.
make
You
it like
said you took the words out of my mouth. Cut as soon as someone shoots.
yeah,
It's like,
someone started shooting,
like,
someone punches, like Taken.
yeah,
Like, I mean, like I remember there was like 14 cuts in one scene when dude is jumping a fence. Like, why do I need that?
yeah,
So I gotta give him props for that. Like that actually, that made it, and I will say this, where this movie, even though I said I probably would forget about it, if I saw it on TV, I would be like, you know what? I can watch this, and I could watch this with someone
oh yeah,
just for the action scenes and the
no,
camera. That like it's that good.
it's straight up. We don't use this lightly. Film school camera, like and I said this to you and Matt, outside of us filming anything, where we are now at the age that the actors we've seen grow up and be in Hollywood and be in Dollywood and all this. And they are making films now. They are the directors. They are, so it's like everything that we loved, again, those 4 movies I mentioned in the beginning of what he tried to mix.
Mhm.
It's like he has studied film and he understands film and he's been on sets his probably since when the Slumdog Millionaire come out? How old could he have been back then?
I don't know,
Like,
but that was like
yeah,
2008.
yeah. So he was super. So just like, almost 20 years worth like of knowledge of film. It shows. And
Yeah,
that's all. I'm done. I have nothing else to say. It shows
movie.
that he understands storytelling. He needs to work on. That's
I
and
agree.
that's okay. And that's okay because we have not seen anything perfect in a long time. But
Yeah,
the
excuse me.
the
And
action
yeah,
and the camera work just ooh,
and the thing that gets me, Jovi, like there is a story there, bro.
right.
It's
Right.
just it was told in a discombobulated way,
Yeah.
which is probably why I was discombobulated trying.
I would have loved that full flashback to be the beginning of the film.
Right. Show me the flashback, why he's
Yeah.
angry. Show me where he is now, and then go with like I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds simple, but maybe we need to appreciate movies that can do that well more.
Right.
Like because we think like movies that can explain their plot in the first 30 minutes. We're like, oh, that's normal.
Right.
Maybe we need to appreciate that art more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because yeah. But yeah, man, what you gonna give this one?
3.5.
All right. So I was actually at a 2.5.
Okay.
But seriously, like I'm just thinking about how good the action
I
in this
mean,
was.
so a 3
I'm gonna give it a
probably
3.
is, yeah, 3 is probably more of what it really is because when we always talk about watchability, this is not a movie I would necessarily rewatch just like sitting on the couch going out of my way. But if it's on, like you said, or I would have this on in the background while I'm like drawing or something or cleaning some
That's exactly
sheet.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
if I
that kind of film because it does feel like all those other films that I've mentioned, and I will have those on in the background because I love those type of films.
all right, yeah,
So
man. Yeah,
That's
so your
it.
small couch review score is a 3 for Monkey Man. Please go see it. Or if you go see it, let us know
Yes.
what you think
Right.
about it. Right down there in the comments. And if you like what you see, please go ahead, hit that little subscribe button and the bell. That way you'll always know when we drop a video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we out.
Deuces.